Maloni Bhatt. Welcome to this special chat, which is part of ET Future of Jobs Summit on the skills and jobs that will shape tomorrow. According to the 9th edition of India Skills Report 2022, which was by VBox Talent along with CII, Sunstone University and TAG, the overall employability rate amongst Indian youth stands at 48.7%. So it's not even 50%. Now, this was from a survey of 3 lakh candidates. Those in industry will point out that where there are abundant job opportunities, there is a shortage of graduates with industry-relevant skills. This points to a widening skill gap in the Indian ecosystem of higher education. So how can we skill our youth for tomorrow's jobs? And are the skills that we impart even relevant? To talk to us about this, I have with me Abhishek Arora. He is the Executive Vice President and Business Head, Skills and Careers Business at NIIT Limited. In his 2 decades of experience, he's held various leadership positions across EdTech, FinTech, consumer internet, e-commerce, and financial services. Abhishek is an alumnus of the Indian School of Business at Hyderabad. Welcome, Abhishek.
Thank you, Maloni. Thanks a lot. And it's a privilege for me to be part of this discussion. Really look forward for that.
And we look forward to the insights that you have to offer. So starting out, a recent report on India's demographic dividend by the CII argues that the rise in India's working age population, which is an expected addition of another 183 million people in the age group of 15 to 64 years between 2020 and 2050, lots of numbers, may become a liability for India in the absence of a skilled workforce. There are numerous programs, right? Like at the national level, at the state level, even at the institution level on skilling and reskilling. Do you think that these programs are delivering to industry requirements? And if they are not, then where is that gap?
Well, good question, Maloni, I would say. First of all, you're absolutely right that there is a significant increase in the workforce population, which is going to happen in India. But I don't see that as a liability. I see that as an opportunity. And why I say so is because if you look India as a geography, we are one of the largest, or in fact, the largest service economy in the globe who is serving clients across the globe. And we are taking more and more business. The way the GDP is growing every year, if you look at the Government of India figures, we have to contribute more towards this growth. And with this increase in population of the workforce, which is going to enter into this space, we do have a challenge in terms of them being relevant. That's the only challenge we have. Now, why that challenge is because if you look the education system, which has come across for so many years, is rapidly changing. Government of India is investing so much efforts to do that. The new national education policy is bringing that transformation. And the graduates who are coming across, who are graduating now from the colleges are also evolving as they used to be 10 years or 15 years ago. However, because of the rapid change in technology, which is happening globally, a lot of new technologies are coming every day. The way the businesses are run are becoming very different every now and then. I mean, 5 years ago, we never heard of, or 10 years ago, we never used to talk about things like fintech. We never used to talk about e-commerce. We never used to talk about health tech. We never used to talk about insurance tech and so on and so forth. These all things are evolving. And as these are evolving, the requirement or the necessity of individuals getting skilled into the newest technologies is also increasing. And that's where NIIT comes into picture, where we have invested our strong pedagogy of last 40 years, where we have the expertise to build India's talent in various domains. We are leveraging that skill, and we have come up with a new age technology programs, a bunch of them, which enable learners to get deep skills into a particular domain. And these domains vary across a lot of skills in the new age technology space. Deep skill them, and with an immersive learning methodology, which is also very unique, which we use to enable these learners to become more successful. We are able to transform. We don't even just educate them. We transform them into a new individual, and they are able to become super successful. And to give you an example, the way we teach is a very online-driven platform with instructor-led training. And so far, whosoever we have taught has been able to get into a full-time employment, which approximately double the salary which they are generally able to acquire from campuses into the same corporates or the large corporate organizations which are working in this economy. And the skills are very, very industry relevant. They are not just skills which are a generic in nature. They're very relevant. And therefore, as you mentioned in your conversation, that if you talk to employers, there's a lot of many opportunities which are available. But on the other side, there's youth who are not able to grab those opportunities because of lack of that skill. And that's where NIIT comes into the picture, where we are acting as a bridge, which we call as the journey from a college to corporate is a distance you have to cover. And NIIT acts as a bridge, which helps you to cross that river, get into a college, and the foundation job is not a job. I rather call it as the job, because this is something which makes a very strong foundation. And even in next 2 years down the line, the individual would be able to become more successful than his or her peer group who has come without a formal training or supplemental training which we provide to them.
Right. I'm glad you brought this up, because the next question essentially is on that, that there is a great deal of emphasis globally on skills and jobs related to automation, to new age technologies, such as artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, blockchain, natural language processing. So, while NIIT is doing its bit, what are the kinds of programs or steps you believe that will be required to address this talent shortage in these technologies? Because we're already hearing a lot about that, both when it comes to, say, educational courses and also policy changes that are required.
Absolutely, Moni, absolutely bang on. And I rather use a different word for that. I don't call it as a talent shortage. I call it as a war of digital talent. And the reason I use that word is because, as I said, there is a lot of opportunity, because every organization globally, not only in India, is transforming digitally. Everything is moving from a localized server to a cloud-based platform. Everything is moving from a traditional mainframe to more probably a data science and a machine learning or an artificial intelligence, as you mentioned, as the tools to build that. And every industry, not only like limited to a service industry, in the health industry, travel industry, e-commerce industry, finance, BFSI as a whole industry, everything is transforming. And therefore, we in last 1.5 years have launched a bunch of such programs. And to start with, we started with a program on software engineering and product engineering, which is the largest in demand, where we create the front-end and back-end developers into the ecosystem. And then we expanded that to machine learning and data sciences programs, which is so-called the coolest and the most aspirational job for the youth in the 21st century. And furthermore, we expanded the programs into cloud computing, cybersecurity, and digital marketing, which are the most popular and highest in demand programs in the current ecosystem. And these programs so far, because we just launched these programs in last 1.5 years, and we were testing and trying to find out how the industry responds to it. And so far we have got a super confident reply from them. All our graduates have got 100% placement. And the very important aspect which I want to emphasize is that they just don't get a job. They actually got the job, and they actually are able to get approximately 2x the salary, which their peers, as I mentioned earlier as well, who get a job into the same corporates who graduate out of that. So there's a strong testimony. There is a strong use case. And now, as we enter into this financial year, we have strong plans to grow, to take this or amplify this growth altogether to the next level. And just to add to that, these technologies which we are talking about are something which are very, very relevant to today's ecosystem. For example, as I said, that everything is migrating to cloud as an example. Now, when everything migrates to cloud, now there's a lot of emphasis which comes to the data security as a whole. So that's why cybersecurity becomes very, very relevant. And the programs which we launched, we initially, the target segment which we put, or the eligibility to get into the programs, was more towards the STEM graduates. But gradually we realized that there are people who are diploma holders who are also capable and interested to work into these domains. So we expanded our programs to the diploma holders as well, just to support Government of India's initiative to drive the digital transformation in India. And so far it has been giving excellent results for us.
All right. But Abhishek, this ecosystem for such a long time, policy-wise, do you envisage any particular change that is required, or the policy that exists right now, the support that exists for it right now, is enough?
See, the current national education policy, which has got revamped recently, I think it's a tremendous step in the right direction. Now, when you work in a large country like India, which has 1.5 billion people in there, there's a time to test the waters. I mean, the policy which has got recently is emphasizing a lot on digital transformation, on the newest technology skills, and I believe that's the perfect right step which the government has taken, and we are in complete support of that. We are invested into it, and therefore all our programs are designed and aligned towards the same growth or the same direction in which government is going. So I think it's all going in the absolutely right direction.
I wanted to talk about the cost of skilling and reskilling. There are a lot of people at various levels, mid-career level, start career level, who want to skill and reskill. But sometimes for a lot of people from tier 3, tier 4, towns, cities, the cost is prohibitive.
So see, the programs which we offer currently is not restrictive to people in tier 1 or tier 2 cities as a whole. These programs are spread across the pan-India as a geography. So anybody from every part of the India can enroll into these programs. And we understand that cost of these programs could be prohibitive. And therefore, if you look at our business model, it is very, very supportive to these individuals because we don't charge them the entire money upfront. We have partnered with financial institutions, more precisely partnered with fintechs, the technology-driven financial organizations, who are able to give them a lending facility, which they have to start pay back to them once they are graduated and once they get into a job. So we also provide them a moratorium for that period, which is very useful. So, you have to pay a minimum amount, which is the 10% of the course fee. And the reason we take that, so that, there's a vested interest of an individual to do something with us and actually get the program completed and get into the potential role which he or she is looking at. So you pay that initial 10% of the amount, and then we provide a lending to them. And then this is something which is complemented by not starting the EMI immediately. It is a moratorium period for about 4 months, or the duration of the program which is there. And once you get in the job, you start paying. Now, if you look at the ROI calculation, I mean, it is massively high, and it's unparalleled in the industry right now. So you just invest, say, 1.5 L for the program, and then you're able to get a job which is paying you as high as 10 lakh rupees or even higher in certain cases. I mean, that's a phenomenal ROI for an individual, even from a tier 3, tier 4 city, by paying a minimal amount, then getting a loan, doing that moratorium, and then becoming super successful. So I don't think it's a deterrent for them. It's a great enabler for them.
Right. The rise of programs, the rise of institutes such as yours, does this also point to the fact that the system of education that we have in place right now in India is not enough?
See, education system in India is a very robust, and it's a very phenomenal system, I would believe. But education institutions have a different purpose. Education institutions are focused to make you a better human being. They liberate you as an individual. They give you a larger information and help you become a better individual as a whole. But when it comes across and you want to go into a job, education institutions' role is not to give you a job. Education institutions are designed for a different purpose, different motive. But when we come into the ecosystem, we are finding there is a gap between what employers want and where the learner is standing. And that's why I said that once you graduate out of a college and you have to go to a corporate, there is a bridge or there's a river in between which you have to cross. And NIIT acts as a bridge to cover that distance from a college to corporate. And it is not that education institutions are short of something or they are not delivering. Education institutions have a purpose and a motto, and I believe they're completely fulfilling what they're designed for. They give an excellent platform to all of us. We have all kind of gone through the education system in India or outside India, and that has been a founding stone for each one of us. And I believe that's doing the right thing. Yeah.
All right, Abhishek Arora, thank you so very much for your insights and your thoughts, and we wish you and your team the very best.
Thank you, Miruni. Thank you so much for your time here today. It was really an honor for me to have a chat with the ET folks. It has given a great privilege for me to share my thoughts, and I'm sure it will really help the youth in this country to grow themselves and get into the part of the digital transformation which is happening and become super successful as they move forward.
We second that. Thank you, Abhishek.
Thank you, Miruni. Thanks a lot.